I don't bring a lesson because I have nothing to teach. And if you know how to read that, then you know how to read. I'm teaching nothing, nothingness. I'm teaching the void. So anyway, before you get your panties in a bunch or get your Bible out or whatever you're about to do right now, just check this out. People are already in a circumstance where they have kids by multiple people. And pretty much in America's retarded polygamy. It's people all over this country, all different shapes and sizes with different mates. They have multiple mates. That's what polygamy is. That's what polyamory is. Having multiple mates. You know, you are connected to all your mates, let alone the ones you have babies with. That's just even deeper. That's just a deeper exchange. So with polygamy, we see that if there's two mothers that could come together just for the sake of the kids, not even for the male, they don't even have to touch the male. In a lot of circumstances in polygamy, they don't even, I mean, most cases, not even a lot. I'm saying like it's an anomaly that they would even have the same room. They all have different living quarters. They all stay away from like in different quarters. But it's so you don't have to worry about having, you're gonna have to go get a babysitter and all this type of stuff. Like if you have multiple women that could, and you have multiple fathers. That's what I'm saying. I'm not getting rid of polyamory either. I just know polygamy will get under people's skin and it'll make dudes want to click on this video. But I'm saying more so like if everybody has the capacity to be something in a moment. So if everybody was just okay with, everybody's a father, mother, son, daughter, because the son is the father, however you want to look at it, because the ancestors are the children, then you realize like that we could all make it a lot lighter and easier for each other. If all the mothers would just take care of the kids together and, the fathers all pooled the money together. It's really a lot of it is taxes is why they don't like polygamy. That's why it's so shunned in media is because of the taxes more so that the tax exemptions or tax benefits you would have if you could come together like that as a community. They don't want that either because, it would usher in other communities and a lot of them, have knowledge of self, physically embody the knowledge of self too, so they don't really want that to be next to that. They want to keep the fruit rotting. They don't want to have fresh fruit, showing the the difference. Because I mean, there's also the extreme end of polygamy and polyamory where you got things like, oh no, these people have to get married or these people have to do that. That's a whole nother basket. I'm saying if the people just, people are already having multiple partners for one, that's already poly. So multiple mates, it's all mating. You're tricking the body into thinking it's breeding. So that's just let you know right there that you're not the body. If you're using any form of birth control, down to the simplest form, it's all letting you know that you're more so will, not that body. And the body it's just as far as hardware is concerned, the body, no matter what your software is, your hardware wants to procreate naturally. Doesn't matter what you are. The hardware is the hardware. It's designed to do what it's designed to do. So I'm not saying that people can't come together and just be one couple and be together and be fine. I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm just saying that polygamy is something that's already taken place. It's just in a retarded form. And so people frown upon it and then the media gets behind it. It would be something so much different. We would rely way less on government if people could get over that ego and be like, oh, well, hey, somebody will be taking care of my kid while I'm working and pooling money because it's all a village. Everybody's each other's mothers and fathers. Not saying like you're just going to have mad kids and stuff like that. I'm just saying like that's, more impersonal. That's more seeing things as a whole. That's more seeing because everybody is somebody's kid. It's not like you're going to hold it against. It's just that's how you know it's an ego thing or a false self thing or a, subconscious thing or the body, which is the mind in 3D thing, whatever you want to call it. It's more that like an ideal thing where people are saying like, oh, I don't want it to be done this way because of this. It's like because of the time and space that they're in, and maybe that's them being true to themselves in that moment. But at the end of the day, everybody is somebody's kid. So like, I'm not gonna hold it against somebody if that's how you know it's prejudice it's a childhood prejudice. And why children can't be in government, why children can't vote, why children can't do certain things, and like it lets us know like where we keep our values. People that are already adulterated, their opinions and values, those are the things that people have put on a pedestal, as opposed to the things that keep us happy, which are the things that we were simple, like that we took advantage of when we were in this state that we call child, being a child. But it's really just you being smaller. It's not that, it's just you're smaller. It's not that older. When you start comparing again, you start to lose that separation again. See, we're not seeing people as us. So if we stop being prejudiced against children and allow life to take course, is when you try to instill morality, you're going to create vice. So as you do that, you're trying to push that, you're going to push it away. It's like when you eat, you get more hungry. If you sleep, you get more tired. It's all the more you do something, the less it yields. So I'm not telling people that they should go around being hypersexual. Hypersexuality creates all the other sexual disorders. So that's where we're at, really. We're in a state of people in a hypersexuality state, and it's a chemical state, and we're seeing just crazy forms of polygamy and polyamory because it's already happening. It's just people are lying to themselves as if it's not. We're trying to keep up walls and boundaries, and those things have to be crushed. And if you try to hold them up, you'll be crushed with them. It's just the flow of life. It's just that's just how it's going to be. Things are going to be in a constant state of chaos. It has to be. If you could know it, it wouldn't be life. So that's why when it comes to polygamy, you're just doing something that's beyond you. It's more so like somebody. I know if I take care of these people's kids, that when I take care of my kids, and it's all in exchange, and everybody's babies, and everybody's doing that, then there's nobody getting left out, and and you see everybody as yourself, and you see, and then that's where you can get compassion or empathy, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to title that. But it's oneness. Those feelings are like titles for like pockets of oneness in your life, in your linear life. So, polygamy is more so something as far as like raising. It could be something totally different, or polyamory could be something totally different than what you think it is right now. It's like it's never what you do, but how it's done. So the forms of monogamy we can see sick monogamy. We can see monogamy turn into sick children and sick all. Or any single parent shouldn't have a problem with polygamy because they're already a polygamist already. Because you're gonna move on and mate again. So that's polygamy. That's what that is, or polyamory. If you have multiple baby dads, you're polyamorous. It's not anything to be ashamed of. It's just a title we're calling it in the Western world, or what you call the West. That is, it has a certain conditioning on it, and people, it's crazy. People, the conditioning has women in this state where they won't even approach males because of their ideals, and they don't want to get their ego bruised. So they like, they only get the pick from the males that approach them. So it's just wow. The lioness is the hunter, though. In reality, if we look at the way things are, that the male is more the stationary Shiva figure. Kali is the one collecting bodies, or Kali is the one collecting bodies. You want to take it any part of the culture, from human down to animals, or any form of the animated kingdom. The female is the one that's hunting or moving or on a prowl. The male he already has the seeds of creation. That is his job to be responsible with that. I'm not saying that people should just spill the seed all crazily. I'm saying exactly the opposite, really. So, and of course, if you are, it's not like you just start with polygamy in mind. You're going to start with one and one anyway, and then you birth the others. So then you see what you can, what your energy can handle, and and which if you can manage the exchange. So it's like, it's just funny. It's just funny how it is, how the people, the misperception, I feel like, of polygamy and polyamory is just, it got everything to do with ideals that they come from a culture that has done just as much poisoning and destruction as any. So I don't get why we're saying this is better than that. At the end of the day, it's like, what, if we can have gay marriage, why can't we have polygamy or polyamory? Like, why can't we have that? Why can't people build their why does the government? Because it's a funny thing. The government doesn't want you to do that, because then you don't need the government. Like, you'll need the government less if you have family. Government is there because families dissipated. Families arose because people wanted to enslave themselves and enslave. That's what family means, household servants. It's what the literal translation of familia means. So people tried to enslave themselves, create a family to take on roles, external roles for them, and then then they got it was just further fragmentation, and then the given energy outwardly, more unconscious things unfold. Then you have totally unconscious bodies being the ones that are the parasites to convert the energy and destroy a family, and be the catalyst for destruction, and be these unconscious people that you call evil or whatever. But evil is just ignorance. Willful ignorance is pure evil. So when it comes to polygamy, monogamy, it's not something that it should. Once you start comparing, you're already creating separation. You should just already look at it like everybody is somebody's kid. Everybody on earth is somebody's kid, and you're somebody's kid. And if would you hold it against somebody that you meet because they're 50 years old? They're 50 years old, and you're like, nah, you're kids with this person. I mean, you're kids from this person, and I got this ego, you know what I mean? Because I was with this person, and I don't like it. Because you wouldn't even hold it against them. It's just because the time and place you are in, the ideals that come with that, you know what I mean? And just being able to know that you're beyond that, you know what I mean? You're bigger than that, or smaller than that, however you want to look at it, more unfathomable than something as linear as that. It's crazy, like how it boils down to that, like that we're looking at, like, no, there's a new small person that came in. Like, I got these other titles and concepts of what that means. A small person coming through this doorway means this, so I'm upset about it. I'm not cool with this. You know what I mean? It's not all right. Like, come on, man. Like, it's just funny, man. Like, it's just funny how that goes. And you would have just so much more perspective if all the kids could bounce things, life off each other too. Why would you keep up walls, make things awkward to where the kids can't be around each other? You got one baby mom here, one baby father there, and then the kids, they're all brothers and sisters. This is how a lot of people's inbreeding too. You know, Slavery got a lot of people inbreeding, and feudalism in Europe, if you want to, it's all different levels and different titles for slavery and periods of time when people was eating themselves alive. So, and sowing seeds for further enslavement of themselves and their own seeds, whether Thomas Jefferson or whoever, however you want to go up and down the ladder. If you're on the ladder, your position is shaky. If you're low or high, that's why we can't judge each other. You know what I mean? But if you're off the ladder, if you're not trying to see further than what you can see right now, and you're just in right now, not comparing past the future, present, none of that, and you're just in right now and not trying to see further, then you can live right now. But people got this concept of like, oh, this is what I said then, so I can't live like this now, so I can't be that now. So I got this concept of who I am, and if I go against that, then that's your parasite too. Like, who this concept of who you are has taken shape, and now, and then physical parasites follow that. You know what I mean? And then, it's just because the family structure is destroyed because the individuals are destroyed at this point in life. Is people, eating their own tail, so we just split into many, and you know, it's that simple. It's just like to come back together, we got to accept the being partial. To be whole, we have to be incomplete. To accept it, and then we can move forward. But people are already polygamous. It's just a dysfunctional fashion. So there's so many ways to handle this. There's so many ways to handle it that would be way more holistic.